Join me as I take on the challenge of debunking 10 popular myths that everyone believes. Let's see if I can uncover the science behind these falsehoods. Misconceptions and myths are all around us, and they can have a significant impact on how we perceive the world. Sometimes, these misconceptions can be harmless, but other times, they can lead to serious consequences. So, what's the big deal about debunking myths? Well, for starters, it's crucial to separate fact from fiction, especially in today's world where information spreads like wildfire. By exploring and debunking myths, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world around us. It's essential to question what we think we know and to be open to new information that may challenge our beliefs. After all, science is all about constantly refining our knowledge and updating our understanding of the world. Myths can be perpetuated through various channels, including social media, word of mouth, and even education. It's surprising how often myths can become an integral part of our cultural narrative. So, let's dive in and explore the prevalence of myths in our society. Myths can be entertaining, and they often have an element of truth to them. This is what makes them so believable and widespread. They can be used to explain complex phenomena in simple terms, making them appealing to our desire for quick answers. However, the problem arises when these myths are taken as facts, leading to misinformation and misguided beliefs. In today's digital age, myths can spread rapidly, often going viral on social media platforms. Before we know it, a myth can become fact in the minds of millions of people. This is particularly concerning when it comes to issues like health, science, and history, where misinformation can have serious consequences. It's not uncommon for myths to be perpetuated by authority figures, including politicians, celebrities, and even educators. When influential people spread misinformation, it can be difficult to correct the narrative. This is why it's essential to have a critical eye when consuming information and to verify facts through reputable sources. Myths can also be perpetuated by our own biases and beliefs. We tend to selectively absorb information that confirms our existing worldview while ignoring information that contradicts it. This phenomenon is known as confirmation bias, and it's a significant obstacle to debunking myths. Now that we've explored the prevalence of myths, let's dive into the science behind the myths themselves. From the idea that we only use 10% of our brains to the notion that cracking your knuckles leads to arthritis, we'll be exploring 10 popular myths that everyone believes. Myth number 1. We only use 10% of our brains. This myth has been debunked by experts in the field of neuroscience, who argue that our brains are highly active and interconnected at all times. While it's true that some areas of the brain are more active at certain times, the idea that we only use a small fraction of our brains is simply not supported by scientific evidence. Myth number 2. Humans only have 5 senses. This myth is incomplete, as we actually have many more senses than just the traditional 5. For example, we have a sense of balance, proprioception, and even a sense of hunger. So, while the 5 traditional senses are important, we shouldn't forget about the many other senses that help us navigate the world. Myth number 3. Eating too much sugar will give you diabetes. While it's true that sugar is a risk factor for diabetes, the actual cause of the disease is far more complex. Type 1. Diabetes is an autoimmune disease, while type 2 diabetes is caused by a combination of genetic and lifestyle factors. Sugar may play a role, but it's not the sole cause of the disease. Myth number 4. If you go outside with wet hair, you'll catch a cold. This myth has been debunked by experts who argue that the common cold is caused by viruses, not wet hair or cold weather. Going outside with wet hair may make you feel uncomfortable, but it won't increase your risk of catching a cold. Myth number 5. Sharks are attracted to human blood. This myth has been perpetuated by movies and popular culture, but it's simply not true. Sharks are actually attracted to fish blood and other marine animals, not human blood. Myth number 6. You should drink at least 8 glasses of water a day. While staying hydrated is important, there's no scientific evidence to support the claim that we need to drink a specific amount of water each day. Our hydration needs vary depending on factors like age, sex, and activity level. Myth number 7. Cracking your knuckles will lead to arthritis. While cracking your knuckles may not be good for your joints, there's no conclusive evidence to suggest that it will lead to arthritis. The actual causes of arthritis are far more complex, involving factors like genetics, age, and joint damage. Myth number 8. humans are naturally right or left-handed. While it's true that some people have a strong-handedness, the idea that we're naturally one or the other is a myth. Research suggests that handedness is actually a complex trait influenced by genetics and environment. Myth number 9. You should wait 30 minutes after eating before swimming. This myth has been debunked by experts who argue that there's no scientific evidence to support the claim that swimming after eating increases the risk of drowning. Our bodies are perfectly capable of digesting food while swimming. Myth number 10. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. While Edison did develop the first commercially practical light bulb, he didn't invent it from scratch. The actual inventor of the light bulb is a matter of debate, with several scientists and inventors contributing to its development over the years. One of the most surprising myths on this list is the idea that humans only have 5 senses. This myth is particularly surprising because it highlights how much we still have to learn about the human body and its many complexities. The science behind this myth is fascinating, as it reveals the many intricate ways in which our senses interact and influence our perception of the world. By exploring this myth, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the amazing capabilities of the human body. As we've seen today, myths can be entertaining and even believable, but they can also lead to misinformation and misguided beliefs. By questioning what we think we know and seeking out scientific evidence, we can uncover the truth behind these popular myths. Thanks for joining me on this journey of debunking myths. If you have a favorite myth you'd like to share, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about myth busting, be sure to check out my next video.